This town isn't big enough for 2 supervillains.
Oh, you're a villain, all right. Just not a super one.
Yeah? What's the difference?
Presentation!
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the 1224 podcast. I'm Kate.
I'm Shay.
And we're here to talk to you about everything animation. So, you want to know one of the best superhero movies of all time is?
No.
Why?
I don't.
Well, okay, I'm gonna tell you anyways, because it's one of the most groundbreaking cinematic masterpieces of all time that I think a lot of people forget, and that's Megamind. Does anybody remember that? Wow.
Indeed.
Who are you? What? Who said that?
Megamind is Daddy 448, also known as Kevin.
So that's my brother. He's one of our guests today. Welcome, Kevin.
It's actually Megamind is Daddy 448.
Is that like
or Kevin?
Megamind is Daddy 448.
There you go. That's
Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, fine. We'll just call you Megamind is Daddy 448.
You know what? Kevin's fine too.
Okay. Okay, Kevin. Well, welcome to our episode. We're glad that you're here. And yeah, the dog's barking.
That's the other guest.
That's our other guest. Her name's Sophia. Kevin and I are dog sitting right now for one of his friend's dog. So if you hear barking, I apologize, but she'll probably bark because she agrees that Megamind is a great movie.
Indeed.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good opinion.
It is a good opinion because she's right. I mean, you can even argue it's a fact.
I'm trying to think. I guess, the best way to describe the movie, this guy with a big-ass head, right? He's like, aw, man, I was destined to be evil. And then one day the superhero dies, and he's like, aw, man, I don't have anyone to fight with. And it's just him kind of coming to terms with, themes of, destiny and fate. That's the only way I can describe it. It's like a deconstruction of, every superhero movie and, superhero tropes. So, yeah, that's all I can say, really, about it.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. So, I guess in more detailed terms, Megamind is centered around this villain who's definitely from another planet. It's basically a parody of superhero movies before superheroes became a huge thing recently. And I think that's why it's so ahead of its time. So you have Megamind as the protagonist, as the villain, quote unquote. Then you have Metro Man, who is supposed to be the main superhero. He's like the Superman in Metro City, or as Megamind would like to call it, Metrocity, because he doesn't really know how to pronounce some words at times. And then you also have the girl named Roxanne, who's in between that, she's seen as dating Metro Man, but she's really not, and is actually the love interest later. That pretty much sums it up, but I don't know, just something about this movie is so good whenever I watch it. I just watched it yesterday, and it's more than just a whole parody about superhero films. It also just takes a really good take on what it means to be good or bad, or the blurred lines between those identities.
I agree. It's a very different movie because it's a very nice looking blue man, but also with that the story is good. It's not like your average regular superhero movie. When I watched it as a kid, I was indeed twisted by it because I was like, damn, they really just flipped the script.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
I mean, Kevin and I watched it for the first time in the movie theaters, and at first glance, it's oh, it's just another movie. It wasn't so, it was just your average movie. Nothing really to think about it. And then now, watching it back as like an adult with big brain knowledge about writing, I guess. Like the whole movie is so underrated in terms of like how it was really written and like why it matters. It just blows my mind.
I also saw when I was a kid in theaters, like for the first time. And like I had a fun time with it. I guess like when looking at I guess like the timeline too. And I guess also another reason why people can kind of perceive it as like this very underrated movie is because around the same time, because even I forgot about this, Despicable Me came out right before this, which is another movie kind of deconstructing not exactly like superhero villainy, but just like villainy in general.
Mm-hmm.
And since that movie like just blew up, it kind of overshadowed like Megamind's success kind of, because it's like the similar premises and things. I feel like that's like one big part of why a lot of people might like saying undermine sounds like a pun, but I'm not trying to do a pun. Like undermine the movie.
Right.
Like
yeah.
I don't know. Megamind, I think, really shines like the characterization, which I guess will lead into characters or whatever.
Yeah.
So Megamind as a character, again, like since the whole thing is deconstructing specifically like the Superman story, because it's like, oh, alien baby from different planet that's about to get blown up comes to Earth. But the thing is, like, both him and Metro Man are both deconstructions of that, because they both kind of are like fleeing from like these dangerous planets coming to Earth. But the thing is, Metro Man basically kind of sabotaged everything for Megamind, like in the opening sequence. You know, Metro Man's like, oh, like he lands in like this very wealthy family, and he has like the best education and the best resources.
Yeah.
Megamind ends up in prison.
Deadass.
Birth. Yeah, like he literally slaps in the prison. Which, when I was watching it, right, here's what confused me. If there is a baby in your prison, wouldn't you like go and like say, like, wouldn't the office be like, oh, we should give this baby to like, foster care or something? Or if it's like an alien. Because that's the other thing. Megamind isn't like human passing.
Right, because he's blue and he has...
he's
he's
a
like...
race thing.
Yo! Hey, yo!
It's a race thing towards blue people, and that's fucked up.
Yeah.
F12.
You're right.
That's your kind, blue.
Like, there's a lot to unpack, I feel like, especially like watching it now when I'm like older, and also I guess like just the state of like the world right now, and also just I don't know, I'm a person who like is very like, when I watch things I'm like, oh, identity, how does this tie into it? But with Megamind, I don't know, the whole like when that scene happened I was like, I feel like they should have given him to just like foster care or some shit, right?
Yeah.
Like, why was he still in prison? Like, why would they let...
Why would they keep him in prison? Like,
yeah,
what did they do?
Why would they keep them in prison, one? And then two, why would they let the prisoners, like, raise this child?
Hey, you know what? It's ahead of his time, because these prisoners were like, Burger Lee is good, and then the cops are bad, and I was like, yo.
He's just
I felt that.
different. Really.
Stop.
Going on a whole another dimension.
I mean, are they really ahead? I mean, I'm not gonna get into a cop talk right now. Whatever. But, like, it's, what was I talking about? Oh, like, Megamind, like, it's very interesting because with the whole thing, too, he doesn't know his purpose in life because he's like, oh, okay, because, like, when he's a baby, like, his parents are like, oh, do you, like, I forget, like, the parents are like, da, and you obviously, like, you were meant for, and it just cuts off because they, like, close the thing, and they send him off, so he doesn't know what he's meant for. So he thinks his purpose is to be bad since he ends up in the prison.
It's even more than that. It's like he, like, growing up, like, he's just been good at being, like, doing bad things, especially in the school, because, like, he was trying to impress the kids, and then, like, he kind of failed with his inventions, and they were like, oh, Megamind is disgusting. We love Metro Man.
Would you also say this is because of discrimination against blue people?
Yes.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree. Justice for blue people.
Maybe having this discussion is just making us realize maybe Megamind this whole time is about racism.
Oh my
and
God.
The stereotypes and the stereotypes and like pressure with that. Look, I can break this down.
And the conformism. That's not even a word, but
Conformity to
conformity to society.
society's like
I mean, I only
stereotypes.
saw white people in the movie, so
Ooh.
Ooh,
Okay. Damn.
Jinx.
Okay,
You owe me
Kevin.
soda.
like one blue person, and that's Daddy. But
Cause like, okay. Cause the other thing is too, throughout the film,
Right.
I guess like there's also like I noticed this, and like it's like kind of like even a thing that like I see in real life. Like even I do it. It's like no one denies that Mega Man's smart. That's the thing. So like that's why I'm like I don't like this. I was just thinking throughout the film. It's like they keep on like saying like, oh, only you say stuff like this, and it kind of reminded me of like I think RuPaul's Drag Race specifically. There's like so like he mispronounces like Metro City, and then like he mispronounces like a lot of words.
He
throughout the
mispronounces
thing.
school as shul.
Yeah, but then it's like I don't know, and that brings up the question of like education, truly, because like English is a stupid language. One, and I say this as like
fact.
a person who only speaks English. Stupid language, and I don't know, it made me think about like, is this like a thing kind of like in like Megamind Super Smart, but like everyone kind of downplays him because he mispronounces words, because that's like a thing that happens.
Ooh.
Like, that's why I say RuPaul's Drag Race. There's like a scene where like Aja, who's a contestant, was like talking about fashion, and they mispronounced someone's name, and then the whole judges panel was like, well, if you actually knew fashion, you wouldn't know how to mispronounce their names. I'm just like, you could read things and not like listen to stuff. Like Megamind, I think like with the Metro City thing, it is kind of weird because like you live there and then like you like listen to people say it, but like even then it's like still like I don't think people should shame him for saying like mispronouncing things, I guess. But like I don't know, it made me think of that, I guess.
Yeah, that's
Kind of
interesting to think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, like Megamind in general is like definitely just, I guess, different. Like not like in a comedic way where we're all like, yeah, he's built different. We know that, but like he really just has this mindset of what's good and what's bad. He knows he's the bad guy, and he thinks he's destined to be the bad guy, and that's why he thinks you know, making these contraptions and then using it to destroy the city, and then he expects Metro Man to come in and save the day. Like, he just thinks of it as a whole game rather than because he wants to do it. Like, obviously on the surface, he thinks that he's doing all of this just because he has to as a villain. But like in reality, it's more like, yeah, he just thinks this is a whole game. And
I think it's more that, like, because, you know, like, near the end of the movie, right, where it's, like, Metro Man, or, like, I think it's Metro Man that says it, he's, like, there, like, whenever there's, like, evil, good will always, like, because, like, yin-yang type thing, I think that's what Megamind, but, like, the thing is, he doesn't realize that he needs a superhero until he wins. That's the thing. Metro Man is just Superman, but except he wants to quit, and I don't blame him, because I would also quit.
Yeah. That's basically it. Like, you know, in the beginning you see him like all cocky and stuff, and you know, he has a day for himself, like for the whole city, like it's Metro Man Day or something, and that's when Metro Man quote unquote dies because he fakes his death, and because he just wants to dip. That's it.
Yeah, honestly, it's very elaborate, and I give him props, because, like, okay, so he dies because he's like, my weakness is copper. And then, he put a fake skeleton in the explosion.
Yeah.
Shit. And then he's just, like, chilling at his house. Metro Man, I think, is the result of kind of the opposite of, like, they're foils to each other, obviously. But there's even, like, another foil, there's, like, 3 foils to this whole story. So Metro Man's a foil in the sense that, like, him and Megamind literally have the same thing going on, like, in terms of, like, upbringing, but except, like, of course, Metro Man's like, I'm privileged, which we know, but like all the pressure of him of being good kind of got to him, so he just wants to be like, I just want to like do my own thing, cause like he's like, I don't really want to save people anymore.
Yeah.
I want to chill. I want to make music.
Exactly. It's it's basically just what society expects Metro Man and Megamind to be. Like, just that amount of pressure for people to be like, oh, look, it's Metro Man. Of course he's gonna save the day. Of course he's gonna do all these things to, save everybody and make us feel good. And in reality, it's like, he never really had a choice of being a superhero. I mean, obviously,
It's, like, incredibly taxing. Also, like, when you see, like, all these superhero movies, like, my running joke, because I usually watch them with my dad, and so we go to the movie theaters, and we're like, yeah, it's a cool movie. I'm like, yeah, I can't wait for the next movie where, like, I don't know, they take a break and have some tea or something. I don't know, thinking about saving 1 million people from world destruction, like, basically every week. And you're the only person, too. He's the only superhero, too. That's what makes it, like, even worse to me, because I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah.
So it's like, of course he would quit at some point. Like, if you don't have a choice, one. Again, I think this is also just because, like, him and Megamind kind of depend on each other, too. So, like, let's say if Megamind just stopped being evil and Metro Man was still, like, doing stuff. Like, Metro Man wouldn't have a purpose anymore, so he would just, like, kind of, like, I don't know, chill. Right? And then same thing with Megamind. Like, if Metro Man's not there to save the day, and Mega Man... there's a lot of stuff going on with
There's
all
a lot
these
of M's.
Yeah, and Megamind is, like, wins, and of course Megamind doesn't have purpose. It's like, they both need to, like, play off of each other in order to, like, I don't know, keep what they're doing alive. Thing is, Metro Man just gave up versus Megamind, where, like, he never really gave up until, like, midway through the story, but even then I wouldn't say he, like, gave up. Too many M's.
Way too many M's.
Alliteration. and I think it makes sense because they're foils of each other. And I was like, oh, okay. And like throughout this whole movie, both of those characters, I mean, especially Megamind, obviously, but you see both of them trying to find their own true purpose and passion for what they actually want to do versus what society perceives them as. Because with Megamind, I feel like when he was disguising himself as Bernard in front of Roxanne, even though he's disguised as someone else, I feel like that's more of his true self as a good person, because in all reality, he wants to be a good person, I guess.
So you're saying that Megamind putting on the human suit instead of just being, his
No. Okay.
No, I know what you're saying. I was just
appearance-wise.
being stupid.
No, you're fine. Okay, that sounded weird. I know what you mean. Appearance-wise, that's weird. But like, even though he's disguised himself, his personality was shown, more fully. I don't know how to word things.
I know
how
what
to
you're saying.
Yeah.
Without like the prejudice of him being Megamind. He was able to fully feel himself when talking to Roxanne, despite Roxanne wanting Megamind to fucking die.
Exactly.
Yeah, I knew what you were saying. I was just being stupid.
You're fine. It helped elaborate what I was trying to say, and you helped me, so thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Anyways,
Roxanne.
can we talk about Roxanne?
Roxanne.
So
Yes.
Any thoughts about Roxanne, Kevin?
No. Get her out. Like, mine's mine.
Oh, so you're jealous of Roxanne?
Hell yeah. She's kind of bad though, not gonna lie. Big head ass though.
they all have big heads in the whole film. Like,
they do.
All of them.
They all of them have big
That's
heads.
the best thing.
Okay, Kevin.
Hey, yo.
Roxanne, she's like a report. She's like Lois Lane, except like she's not romantically involved with
Metro Man.
Yeah, look, if I start forgetting people's names, I'm gonna start referring to who they look like. So whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, like she's like Lois Lane type thing. And like her whole thing is like she's just like, I report, and also she kind of wants to solve like she kind of wants to figure out what Megamind's gonna do in the whole film, because she's just like, are you happy? Because also the running joke in the movie, it's like they've done this all before. So like when she gets kidnapped, she's like, oh, okay, shark pit, haven't seen that. Like, I've seen that before. Like, all these like dangers. She's like, oh, a spider, that's new. Like, just stuff like that.
Yeah.
So she's very headstrong. She's just like a little detective. I love her. I love like the little like when she has like that moment where she like just backs up on the balcony to see like Megamind's
Yes.
plan,
Oh my gosh.
which the news clipping like hanging from the ceiling thing was like a huge like I wouldn't say theme in the movie. It's like a kind of motif from like you watch the beginning of the movie then the
Yeah.
end
Oh
and
my
stuff,
gosh.
which is really cool. But then I thought that takes so much time to do. What's your problem? Just put it on a cork board like a normal person.
Nah.
But you know, that's fine. Whatever.
It's a
So
fun time.
I know cinematography and like
Cinematography.
choices, but like I just sat there like for practicality, this makes no sense to me. Why can't you be normal and just put all your papers on the floor?
She isn't
But anyway,
normal, but let her do her thing.
I'll let her do her thing. I'm just saying like that's so much, and she has like tall ceilings too, like high ass ceilings. Like how is she putting stuff up there?
I don't know.
It's called a ladder.
I really love Roxanne too.
Mhm.
I'm just reminded of this line when she gets kidnapped and Metro Man and Megamind are just going at it, like insulting each other. And then there's this line where she's like, "Okay, girls, we get it. You're both pretty. Can I go home now?" I was like, I love that. I love that line.
She tells it how it is, because she's just like, look, I don't like people who like who just like beat around like the bush. She's like, cut the bullshit. Cause like,
Right.
okay, so when Megamind, he disguises himself as like, his name's Bernard, right? That's the librarian's
Yeah.
name? Yeah. Andrew Garfield looking as like Bernard, and like, basically, like when she finds out like at dinner, you know, it's like raining, it's like all like melodramatic and things, right? Cause it's like a breakup scene. And she was just like, cause this also like right before like Megamind was like redeeming himself. She's just like, look, oh yeah, cause she met, I'll talk about this character later, but like, cause she's just like, look, like you've done so many bad things. I can't like you because
Yeah.
you have put the town in disarray. You killed, um,
Markiplier.
yeah, him, and like,
Markiplier?
Yeah, he's
yeah,
in this movie. He plays Metro Man.
Metro Man's just white Markiplier.
You right.
You know, like, yeah, she's like, you killed Metro Man, like, and you're causing all this, like, you caused all this fucking chaos, so, like, why would I like you? You've done so much bad in, like, the past also. And I like that, because, you know, I sat there, and I was like, I'm like, I like Roxanne.
Me too.
She tells it how it is.
Facts.
She's a good character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, thinking about it, I feel like she's, like, the character that represents Metro City and even us as audience members trying to determine, like, whether or not Megamind is a good or bad person. I just think she's interesting. I love Roxanne.
Yeah. You wanna know who else is an interesting character, but, like, in the opposite direction, because I fucking hate him?
I know who you're talking about, but tell them.
I don't know his name. Jonah Hill? The Jonah Hill character.
Jonah Hill.
I don't know his...
Hal?
Well, yes, Hal. He is voiced by Jonah Hill.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. Is this actually Jonah Hill or what?
Yeah. No, because I was trying to figure out if it was Jonah Hill or, what's his name? He plays Fred in, Big Hero 6, and he also plays the emoji from the Emoji Movie.
The emoji from the...
It's like TJ...
TJ Miller?
Yeah, I was like trying to figure out if it's TJ Miller or not, and I was like, I'm pretty sure it's Jonah Hill though, because like Dreamworks has a weird thing about making their characters look like they're actors.
Yeah.
So like, although I don't know what was up with Shrek, like Human Shrek does not look like Mike Myers at all. It's weird.
That's the exception.
Yeah, like Shrek is like the only franchise where I could think like they don't really look like they're voice actors that much, but Shark Tale, I think, is the one where they look way too much like they're actors. Anyways,
and they're fish cursed. Anyways.
like with Megamind, Hal. So Hal is like
creepy. Disgusting.
Yeah, he's a deconstruction of like, well, not he's like the nice guy trope.
He's a simp. So I gotta say, simp.
S-I-M-P.
Squirrels in my pants. But like, yeah, so his whole thing, he's like, I love Roxanne Ritchie, we're gonna get together, even though they don't know each other, right? Which, like, only thing I agreed with him in the whole film about was, like, when him and Roxanne were, like, talking, and he was like, you don't know me. I'm like, yeah, exactly. Y'all don't know each other. Both of y'all don't know each other.
Just a cameraman.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to describe exactly, like, I don't know, during that one scene where he's like, we don't know each other, I was like, yeah.
And that's
And so
why
I
you
was like,
shouldn't hit her up like that.
yeah, but he was more like, you don't know me. And I was like, but you don't know her either?
Yeah.
Like, it's like several times she's kind of ignored your advance, like, cause he goes hard on the advances too. That's the other thing.
It's so
He's
weird.
He's like, yo, I got a bouncy castle at my place. I got a clown. I got a masseuse. I got a wine thing.
I got a marriage photographer.
Yeah, he's like, party at my place. And she's like, oh, I'll like go later. He's like, well, no one's coming to the party. It's only gonna be us. I'm like, what, wait, what do you...
Wait a minute. Weirdo. And then he also has Roxanne on his wall, and then like with like a little bubble that says "Good night, Hal." Like what?
Bro, so the whole thing with Hal is that cause okay, when Metro Man's like, bye everyone, like fuck y'all, Megamind's like, well, I need a superhero now because I won and it's boring. When he was thinking about people, he saw Hal as like, Hal needs to be the superhero because he's like, he won't do any harm. And this is why I'm saying like, Hal is kind of also loyal to Megamind because Hal is like an ordinary dude, and you're like, oh, he can't do any like real harm, right? Because he's like, they, like in the whole thing, they kind of build up to be like this very pathetic guy, but like he won't like do anything crazy, right?
Yeah.
But like once he gets the power, like the superhero powers, he goes power crazy. So like he's like, and also keep in mind that Megamind also kind of like manipulated him because he's like, because Megamind like disguised himself. He's like, I'm your father,
Space
right?
Dad.
And, like that whole thing happened. So Hal thinks, oh, if I have powers, because he thinks that Roxanne and Metro Man kind of have a thing going on. He's like, yo, if I get powers, then she'll like me, like she likes Metro Man because Metro Man's dead, so I can like slide in.
Yo.
And like obviously that doesn't work because also like right before the dinner date with Megamind, like when Roxanne was like looking at the pictures, because when she stepped back, she saw Titan, which is like Hal's like superhero name, right? Cool shot. Still don't understand like the practicality exactly, but cool shot. I can question things.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But she like backs up and boom, he's there, and then he's like fucking throwing her across the city and shit.
Yeah, that was scary. Like, even watching that scene, I was like, if I were Roxanne, I would have been screaming and freaking out. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, because there's like one point where he like fucking drops her like on purpose.
Yeah.
That's assault at that point, what?
Right.
Yeah, no, like, I get so anxious watching flying scenes, right? And like, because like, I'm just like, yo, what if they drop? Like, I love the movie Aladdin. And I like the magic carpet scene. But the thing is, when they start flipping, I'm like, there is no way they're staying on that carpet. Because they're not grabbing onto anything. They're just like kneeling on it. And you're telling me that the carpet like caught, like, it's like enough static to keep them up there. No, someone would have fell by then. I don't know. Like,
Exactly.
I can suspend disbelief for a lot of things. I'm just like, I don't know, with Megamind, for some reason, my whole mind was like an overdrive. I'm like, why is this happening? Like this and this and this and this. And I'm like, I shouldn't be thinking this much.
You're fine. Hal overall is problematic, but like, obviously,
Hate that man.
Yeah, all my homies hate Hal. So yeah, but like obviously there's a reason why as he becomes the antagonist of the whole film. And I thought it was really interesting, like in terms of like even regular people could just be bad. Like not everyone is like destined to be like good or bad. They could just be straight up like evil or something.
Mm-hmm.
And like after he realizes that he can't have Roxanne, he just decides to use his power to steal things. And that's what I was trying to get at. Like, he was just stealing money, like, stealing bikes and shit. And I was like, we don't like you.
Yeah. All this because Megamind missed, like, You just miss Metro Man.
Yeah.
All of this. All of this.
Stealing and doing evil wasn't enough from him.
Honestly, I think Megamind should just kill the person. I think that person should have been Hal.
Honestly, that's true.
That would have been a nice W.
That would have been.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, sometimes for me, deaths can be like, okay, whatever. But in this case, Hal, yeah. Bye, Hal.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why, because it's like, it was like marketed as like a kid's movie and then like, you know, restrictions and things. But, you know, sometimes a film needs a little murder. I don't know.
That's fair. I mean, at that point, I think it's still, like, gave the execution of, you know, with great power comes with great responsibility. Yes, I'm quoting Spider-Man because I can. But yeah, it makes sense. Could we talk about the most goated character in this
Minion?
film? Yes, Minion.
Oh, that's the dude
Yeah.
with the fish, right?
Yeah!
Yeah.
He's so cute. Yeah, so Minion is literally Megamind's minion, but they're like buddies. Like they're just homies that like do evil together and stuff, and he's basically like the supporting ally for Megamind. Yeah, that's basically it. Like he's adorable. He's a fish. And
He also tells it how it is.
you're right. Exactly. Mostly like on Megamind's side, cuz he was trying to like figure out why is he doing all this good stuff, huh? Like, why are you cleaning up the trash? Huh? You trying to be good?
He's like, oh, Miss Roxanne? And he's like, you know Roxanne ain't gonna get with you, right? She's gonna be upset that you lied, and she's gonna be upset that it's you. I'm like, yo.
That's a whole reality check.
Wow, so insightful, Sophia. Thank you.
I agree.
But, yeah. He's cool.
Yeah, I love Minion. Like, he just becomes a very supporting aid for Megamind. Like, more so like his kind of like that friend that definitely like calls you out on things if you're like doing something wrong, you know? Yeah, that's all. And I don't know, he's adorable, especially at that moment when he pretends to die and then Megamind's like, "Wait, there's water.
Dead.
You're not dead.
You're
There's
not
literally water
dead."
like right next to you, so I'm just gonna throw you in."
I'm sorry, that the whole ending of like the movie, like the I guess like the end of the climax, so like the falling action. I really liked it. I like how turns out the whole, cuz it was like this elaborate ass plan too. So Megamind disguised Minion as him, then Megamind disguised himself as Metro Man. And like it's like this whole fight against like Titan or whatever, and then like at the end, like when like they think that they've done like a good job, right? Roxanne like turns off the fucking disguise for him so that the people could see, and I like screamed and I was like, oh wait, that's so sweet. And then Titan comes back and tries to kill everyone. So like I don't know what.
Yeah, oh my gosh, that ending. It was so good just because of like, you know, this wasn't Metro Man saving the day, it was Megamind that saved the day. Almost.
Yeah.
And
Only reason why Titan knew is just because Megamind said Metrocity instead of Metro City.
all of that.
I thought it was a very smart like call.
Yeah, I thought so too. Oh my gosh, I love how the movie overall is super detailed about that, which is great. Especially, okay, even by the end when Megamind defeats Titan. So like, you know, the way he does it, he has to grab the ray that'll take away his power, but he doesn't know where it is because it's in the invisible car. And so, you know, Roxanne is like, you know, I looked back. Remember when I broke up with you? I looked back. And it's definitely a callback to when Megamind asked about, like, you know, after he revealed himself accidentally, after he asked Roxanne, did you look back? And she was like, no, I'm not telling you anything. And then she was like, just kidding. That's what makes Megamind so great, especially at the callbacks and how detailed they are. I don't know, I was looking at the trivia because I was watching this on Amazon Prime. I didn't know they had trivia throughout the whole movie. They only just had like a few facts for me. But like, it was just this like weird thing of when Roxanne and Megamind or Bernard were in the library, they were like reading books, and like Bernard was holding like Megamind unmasked, and then the description in the back was like this book called The Happiest Me I Can Be or whatever, and that was the same book that Metro Man was reading, and I was like, huh, I didn't know if this was a mistake or like intentional, but that's interesting.
Yeah, I think, like, I don't know, like, I like little, like, animation tidbits like that. I just didn't like how I didn't know what was going on when I just saw it in the corner. I was like, I need to pay attention to this movie visually. I'm sorry. Sorry, Miss
Visually?
Trivia. I know, like, there was one, because, like, at the end, I, like, quickly looked at the trivia, but, like, I didn't really read it. I know there was one that was, like, about an explosion scene that took, like, it took, like, months to animate, which makes sense, because it's, like, one 3D film, two explode. Like, it had, like, a tiny little pieces, too, because I think it was the one where, like, they're blowing up the statue, which makes a lot of sense why it would take so long.
Yeah,
Animation takes a long time.
it really does. I give them
Yeah.
props.
It also, like, so for movie animation, too, it takes, like, much longer, so, like, I guess that's why it wasn't, like, I mean, it was still, like, a whoa moment, but I guess, I don't know. I tell them, like, being an animation studio has jaded my perception on everything, because I can't watch things without, like, overanalyzing it.
That's
And,
me as a film major. Like, they tell you all these different things. Well, for you, like, obviously visually wise, but for me, it's like writing wise, I'm like, okay, time to analyze all these different characters and these
yeah,
scenes.
no, it's, like, the same, because, like, animation's, like, a film offshoot, so
Yeah.
it's, like, the exact same. I think it's also just because, since there is so much emphasis on visual, I do pay more attention to visual stuff, too, anyways. You know, since we're talking about visuals, do you want to talk about Megamind visually?
Yes, I would love to.
Okay.
Okay. I guess going into cinematography terms for me, there was just a lot of parallels that I really liked. Notably the beginning sequence when we're introduced to Metro Man, and then like that kind of also parallels to the ending where Megamind is seen as a hero.
Oh yeah, I like that scene because there's like a joke where it's like this guy with a baby's like, "Hey, my kid can't see." Beginning of the movie, it's like one of Megamind's little minions, and at the end, it's Metro Man, which I'm surprised they didn't recognize him. Cause I'm like seeing him like, look, this man is like taller. He looks so different than everyone else. So I'm like, what?
Maybe it's just the beard. I don't know. Maybe he's just like an incredibly tall man. I wouldn't be that stupid to not recognize him though. So yeah. Yeah, cuz like the thing with those two scenes, it's like Metro Man is like that whole sequence with Metro Man, like, cuz you just see him as someone cocky, but also just like he just thinks that like saving people, like he cares about saving people, but at the same time he doesn't, and he thinks that it's just like something that he has to do. Versus with Megamind's sequence, like it's still like people praising him, but Megamind is doing it because he wants to do it.
So, I guess since I'm a visual person, everyone has a big ass head in this movie, as I stated before. Like not even like I literally mean they all have big ass heads. And then Megamind is even like, it's just huge in terms of like the proportions of it, right? So they go for like, typical, it's like Dreamworks, like if you know Dreamworks, you know how they do stuff. It's definitely like post, like Shrek Dreamworks too. Like, cause they do like have like more exaggerated features, especially like during this time. Because this is like, cause the next movie's Monsters versus Aliens. I don't know. I need like one day I need to like really think about DreamWorks movies and like visuals because like there's some where like I think are like beautiful, like absolutely beautiful, and there's others where I'm like I feel like this looks too ugly. Yeah, like it's like I think I'd like to call this like DreamWorks kind of like experiment like with proportions phase from what I remember. Cause like yeah, it's like very exaggerated proportions, but I think it's fine for like this like very like superhero based story, right? And so I think that works. I mean, the city looks like a city. I love when cities look like cities. Yeah, no, because sometimes people like, I don't know, I feel like with city stuff, but then again, a lot of city stuff I watch is usually TV based and like animated. So it makes sense why there aren't a lot of crowds and people on the streets, but I love when like a good city has like a decent amount of people on the street. Because like sometimes people forget that, especially if they've never lived in a city. I feel like it's like a very like weird thing that like people often forget. I mean, I like the visuals. I really like that scene with like Roxanne backing up and she sees Titan. Yeah, like I don't have anything really to say about Megamind like super visually, I guess. I think everything works fine.
Same.
Hal is fucking disturbing as Titan. That's one thing I can say.
He looks so cursed.
Like, look, here's the thing with like this movie. This movie and cause like the running joke on the internet, if you've ever seen Back at the Barnyard or just the Barnyard movie,
Oh my
Snotty
God.
Boy and Hal look exactly alike, and it's so disturbing to me. Cause I'm like, this is what happened to that little kid who bullied all these cows. Okay.
Oh no. Now I gotta look at it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, they look alike. It's really weird. I think
Wait.
it's because like the proportions of the faces and then also like the hair. It's like it's so I don't know. Talking about Megamind visually is always so weird for me because I like the way it looks. It's just like it's not my favorite, so I'm not as passionate about it. And it's not like it takes place in like modern time. Oh wait, I know one thing I talk about. So like, you know, Megamind like. For Megamind came out during the Obama presidency,
Oh yeah.
and like you can tell because they have like the parody of like the Obama posters from his first presidency. I should say that the first one,
Yeah.
like yeah, and so they had this poster that said "Yes, we can," but like in the movie it's like "No, we
No, you
can't."
can't.
Yeah, like everyone knows that DreamWorks is very pop culture oriented, which isn't a bad thing. Again,
Yeah.
Shrek 2, best movie of all time. Shrek 2. Pop culture
All
to
around.
the brim. Yeah, and it's like so that movie has not dated itself, which is really interesting. Like but I think with Megamind, like in terms of pop culture, there isn't a lot to be honest.
Yeah,
It's
there's
just
not
like
a
the
lot. Cell
Obama
phones.
posters. Oh, well, cell phones are like always get dated, so like I don't really care about cell phones. I like a good flip phone.
Yeah.
I miss them. I want a sidekick. That's gonna be my next one, a sidekick.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Those are fun.
Get
yeah.
little-
Like, even though it's, like, even a little outdated, it's still, like, understandable, and it just makes
Yeah.
sense.
It's not like jarringly like noticeable that's outdated. It's just like
Right.
if you were alive, you would understand it. It's like one of those things. Yeah, it's like yeah, because then the other thing is too like the whole soundtrack is just like
The whole soundtrack.
80s like rock
Ooh.
music.
Yes.
But like it's like very specific. And okay, I'm gonna have to like show my ignorance. I'm very sorry to all the rock heads out there. Half of the songs sounded the same to me, so I couldn't tell which one was which until the
Yeah.
chorus kicked in. So I'm sorry if you like that kind of music. I like that kind of music. It's just that I couldn't tell it apart until a certain point.
That's fair. Like,
Yeah.
they're really well-known songs, but, like, you kind of have to, like, most people recognize it by their choruses, and, like, a majority of it was, like, rock music, because it obviously fits, like, Megamind's, like, villainy, like, style and vibe.
Because it's like cheesy evil.
Yeah, exactly. But edgy.
Corny.
This man wears a lot of leather, and I'm like, okay, Megamind, you looking kind of fun. Oh no, I'm not turning into Kevin, I swear.
We need to go outside. All y'all need to go outside. I'm sorry.
Megamind is daddy. I knew the songs, but I didn't know, like, some of the artists. Like, I knew the ones with the heavy, like, rock music. I was like, yeah, that's, like, AC/DC, but I didn't know one of them was, like, Guns N' Roses. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. And then there was...
I don't know any of this.
There was Ozzy Osbourne with Crazy Train.
Okay, yeah. I knew that one.
And then Bad. That's all I remember. All I know is
Yeah.
AC/DC, Ozzy, MJ, and Guns N' Roses. Because I looked at the subtitles.
Oh, I didn't have subtitles on, so I honestly didn't know. I knew, okay, when I said like I couldn't tell them apart until the chorus, I literally mean like some of the guitar lines, like guitar riffs, sound so similar to me that like I
Yeah.
didn't know it was a different song. There were like 2 songs in the movie I think that happened, because the rest of them I was like they just go into the chorus like, oh, I know this song. Did they play Highway to Hell in
Yes.
that movie? Okay, they did, because I knew Highway to Hell. I knew Crazy Train once they started playing the chorus. I know Bad because like my parents were like obsessed with Michael Jackson, like the Jackson 5. They played another song that wasn't a rock song, or am I just going crazy?
I'm pretty sure they did. I'm just not
Did
remembering
they play
it.
September?
No, they didn't.
Okay, I'm thinking of something else then.
Yeah.
But it's a song I know, that's why I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, no.
But yeah. I don't know, like, I like how they chose, like, they chose dad rock.
Dad rock, yes. It totally
for
fits his
it.
vibe. Because I was like, yeah, there's a difference between, like, villain versus, like, cheesy villain.
Yeah, and Megamind's definitely, like, in that, like, cheesy villain.
Yeah.
But I think it's also, like, but also it's because he's more of, like, he's gonna be a hero later, so it makes kind of sense that he's not, like, crazy. He's like Dr. Doofenshmirtz, like, he's a little more evil than Dr. Doofenshmirtz.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, but, like, I would say, I don't know, like, because it's, I guess also since we only saw him in a movie, and it's, like, harder to really gauge how evil he is sometimes, because you're like, okay, and also we're meeting him at a point where, like, everyone's kind of been there, done that, too, so we're like, okay, we know he's kind of cheesy, because it's, like, he's supposed to be kind of corny, and on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just, I don't know, I think the music fit well for his character.
Me too.
But me, as an uncultured person, in terms of, like, classic rock, I thought, I was like, oh, some of these things, I can't differentiate the songs as much.
Yeah, that's fair.
As, like, other things. Yeah.
I felt that in some songs, yeah.
It's only two songs I felt like that. I don't know why I'm exaggerating this point.
Yeah,
I'm like,
same. No, you're good. I guess I wanted to also just talk about, like, the editing just a little bit, just because of how, I don't know, something about fast-paced, like, action movies, like, even if they aren't action and they're still, like, fast-paced in a good way, like, it's really charming and fun to me. Like, the transition in this movie, like, so good.
Yeah.
Like, holy crap.
There's one, and I don't remember how it let. I think it was either like Roxanne did something and a transition. It was after her date, so that's why I can't remember exactly. But I know
when Megamind like reveals himself.
No, it's literally like after the whole like rain confrontation, and then he opens the door, and it's like jet black, and he's like, "Okay, Minion, you can." I don't know how to explain it.
Okay, that's interesting because I remember the moment after the date, and it transitions from a lightning bolt to like the raining scene where they break up, and I'm like, whoa, cinematic.
Oh. Yeah, no, it was after that scene, because it's like Roxanne like goes away, and like I think it fades to black. Yeah, she goes away, fades to black, and then Megamind opens the door, and it's like jet black. Like he opens the door to his thing, and he's like, "Hey, Minion, like you can come back." Like he's like, "You were right," like, and I was less right. That scene.
Oh, okay, I remember that. Okay, yeah, that was good. I think even before that, like, I'm just thinking about the scene between Roxanne and Megamind before they like meet, where they're in the Metro Man museum and they're like just reminiscing and talking to themselves, but also like talking about Metro Man and like grieving. And
is it like the one with the circle?
Yeah, like
that was the scene.
That scene, oh my gosh, like just the way it was like quote unquote shot. Oh my gosh, it was so good. Like you see both of them going into the same direction but like on opposite sides, and you have the same parallel shots between them, like, you know, them looking out in the statue and then them walking out and then them just talking to Metro Man in a different way but also talking about almost the same thing, and I was like, wow, amazing.
You know, I feel like this is very off topic and kind of relates to the music thing because like, I just thought about, if Megamind came out today, how much you want to bet that bad guy would have been used for like the commercials or in the movie?
Oh my god.
How much you want to bet? Like right now?
I'd bet $100 because it would. I don't know why
Yeah.
100, but like yeah, like honestly, that would have been so funny.
I don't know how I feel about it. Like, I don't know. That was a very random thought. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah. I mean, even then, it would fit, sort of, kind of, but like at the same time, it would be really repetitive. But you know what? It's fine. At least it didn't come out around that time. Any final thoughts about Megamind?
No. My brain is drained.
Mood. Yeah, I really love Megamind just for all the things that we just talked about. And it's so underrated and y'all should really watch it. It's on Amazon Prime. Even though it seems a little outdated in terms of like, I guess, gender roles and heteronormative like ideals in that movie, like it still is just a really interesting film to look at when looking at identity about good versus bad and morality. Yeah, I just love this movie. It's one of my favorite movies, I gotta say.
Yeah, I like the movie. I'm trying to think. Would I say it's one? I don't know if it's one of my favorites, but I do like it a lot. I think it's fun. Fun little movie.
It's a really fun time. It's definitely, if you really like superhero movies and you like animated movies, this is the perfect this is the perfect movie for you. So Kevin, do you have any final thoughts about Megamind?
Megamind is a great movie. I hope they make a part 2. I know they're not going to make a part 2, but DreamWorks, if you're listening to this, make a part 2 or 1.5. That's fine. It's a great movie, 10 out of 10. I will recommend anyone to watch it. And always remember, Megamind is daddy.
Thank you, good sir. That was a great speech. Thank you, Kevin, for joining us.
Thanks, Kevin.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode of the 1224 podcast. Let us know in the comments below about your thoughts about Megamind.
Yeah, do y'all have big heads?
Do y'all have big heads? If so, give us measurement numbers. Actually, no, that's weird.
Actually, no, drop them.
Drop them?
Drop them in the comments. I don't care.
Drop them in the comments. In centimeters.
Okay, yeah, I guess. Do whatever.
Do whatever feels right for you. Alright. Well, thank you all for listening. I'm Kate.
I'm Shay.
And we'll see you all later. Bye!
Bye.